Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of From Memory. I almost said what it was from right away, but you've already read the title. You already know. Today we're going to be looking at Fire Emblem 7. Fire Emblem 7, also known as Blazing Sword, also known as Fire Emblem Rekanoken, is one of my favorite games of all time. It's in my top 5 of all time. That's how much I love this game. The story has its problems, but I love these characters. It was the game that got me into Fire Emblem and into SRPGs in general, and I just cannot get away from it. I love playing it. I play it probably once a year. I really, really like it. So let's see if all those playthroughs will let me remember what happened in this story. We're going to start with Lin Mode, and we're going to work our way through Elowen Mode and into some of the Hector Mode stuff. And I feel like as we go, the early game I'm going to have really good, and the end game I'm probably going to have really poorly. But let's get into it. So, starts off with you making a tactician. You make Mark, and we're going to call him Mark for the sake of the video. Mark meets Lynn on the plains. Lynn picks him up after he's fallen unconscious, and she leads him to her house and takes care of him. She lives in a tent, which has a name that I have forgotten. But she's attacked by bandits, and so you team up with her to stop the bandits, giving her your tactical prowess as the game holds your hand with the Force tutorial. Um, from there, she tells you that her family has been wiped out, that she's the last of the Lorca tribe, and that her goal is to uh, find the bandits that killed her family and take them out. So then, so that nobody else gets hurt in the same way. So you team up with her and you travel a little bit, and you run into Kent and Sane, and Kent and Sane are like, "Hey, we're looking for you, Lynn. You are the new, or not new, but you are the granddaughter of the Marquis of Kalen. We need you to come back with us so that we can get you, with your grandpa because he's sick and dying, and you're actually the heir. And so we got to get you back there." And she's like, "I don't know," but at the end, hey, that's her only family left, so she goes. And along the way, you run into more and more troubles and trials. You find a temple that is being attacked by bandits, and the boss there is named Glass. And Glass has a jawline that could cut glass, and you stop him. And then you get the Manikati, which is a legendary sword that can only be drawn forth by the right person, and that right person is Lynn. She can draw the Manikati. It's a divine sword. And so you then meet Will, who is an archer. He's living inside this house, and he agrees to help you to fight off the bandits. And then it's like, "Hey, I'll help you out." And you meet Florina, who is Lynn's old friend. She's a Pegasus rider from Ilia, and the 5 of you set forward and continue to fight. You then meet. Next up is Math. No, next up is Irk and Sarah. You then meet Irk and Sarah, and Irk is a traveling mage who is trying to study. He's a bodyguard right now for Sarah, who is important in the kingdom of Astia. And you meet the 2 of them and team up with them. Then after them, you meet Matthew, and Matthew comes to help you out. And you meet Wrath. And you meet Wrath because an assassin tries to kill Lynn, and Wrath shoots them. And then Wrath is working against you, but you can recruit him with Lynn, and you have to open these switches because Marquis Arafin, I think is who it is racist against Lynn because she's of the Sakai tribes, from the plains of Sakai. And then, he forgets when he's talking that his man Wrath is also from the plains of Sakai, from a different tribe, the tribe of the Kutala. And so Wrath teams up with you, and you set Marquis Arafin's house on fire, and then you leave. And then you meet Lucius and Nils. And Lucius is this monk, and Nils is this kid that can dance and give your units more moves. And so then together you continue moving forward, and you meet. Oh, we forgot Dorkas! How could we forget Dorkas? What happened to Dorkas? You meet Dorkas, and Dorkas is trying to protect his wife Natalie, but also Dorkas is an idiot, and he signed up with a group of bandits that are trying to attack and kill Natalie. And so Lynn is able to. Well, actually, they're trying to attack Lynn, but Natalie's there. And so you can recruit Dorkas, and then he's on your side. And then you recruit Wallace because Wallace wants to help Kaylin, And so he helps you out, and they force you to use a Knight's Crest on him, which is unfortunate because that could have been used on Saint or Kent. But either way, you then take down a guy who's important, who's like a general of Kalen who taught Saint and Kent. I want to say his name was Balder, but I don't remember for sure. But you take him down, and then from there, you go fight against Lin's uncle, who is the one that's been poisoning her grandpa. And his name is like, they say it so many times, Lundgren. His name's Lundgren. And so you take down Lundgren and you reunite with Hausen, and Lin and Hausen have this great moment. And then Mark leaves because he wants to journey and become a better tactician. And then we time skip. So after the time skip, it's been a little bit of time. You have Ellawood, and Ellawood is trying to find his dad. His dad has gone missing, and his dad is Elbert. And so Ellawood is out looking for his dad, Elbert. And in the meantime, you have Hector, who is from Ostia, who is Ellawood's best friend, and Hector wants to go help his friend Ellawood find his dad, but Hector's brother Uther is like, no, you can't do that. That's not good. That'd be a problem. You need to stay here. And so Hector tries to sneak out with Matthew's help because it turns out Matthew and Sarah both actually work for Ostia, but then they get attacked by assassins, and so you have to beat the assassins and get out. Meanwhile, Ellawood recruits some local help, which is Bartra and Dorkas, as well as Rebecca, to be able to help him fight against these bandits in a map that's very similar to the original map from Fire Emblem 1. And you have to fight off these bandits to be able to move forward. And then in the next map, you meet up together. And for a little while, their stories will go together. You fight alongside each other to try and, find Ellawood's dad. You recruit. Who's next? I guess, yeah, you have Marcus, who's also with Ellawood. You have Oswin, who's with Hector, and you have Lowen, who's with Ellawood. And then from there, what order are the chapters in? I know this. You have the Guy chapter, the Guy chapter, where you recruit Guy with Matthew. And then after that, you have the Merlinus chapter, which is where you have to defend the merchant Merlinus, who's in trouble, and you protect him. And then after Merlinus, you have. I'm counting who's available in the maps in my head to know which one's which. After Merlinus, you have the Rain chapter, which is the Laos chapter. And Marquis Laos is Darren is his name, and he is a huge jerk. And his son Eric is also a huge jerk who went to school with Ellawood and Hector and hates them both and wants them dead. And Darren is working for this guy named Nurgle, and Darren is trying to kill Ellawood and Hector. So he sends Eric out to try and stop him. But this is also when you run back into Irk, and along with Irk, you can recruit Priscilla. And so then from there, you go into, you beat Eric, and it's a pretty good moment where Ellawood is willing to like spare him, but Hector's not, and then Eric is like still a jerk. But you beat Eric, and you get into the castle, and inside the castle, Lucius is there, and also this guy Raven, who is Priscilla's brother, and his name used to be Raymond, and he has a thing against Hector because he's mad that Hector's brother, I think it was Uther, had the Raymond's home castle destroyed, and his parents were killed in the process. Nothing ever comes of that. You don't ever get resolution for that. It's just the way it is. But I mean, I guess in supports you get sort of a resolution, but it's not a good one really. But you recruit Raven, and he's a really good unit. And so then you work your way through the castle, and Darren's not there. He left one of his men in to defend it, and you beat his man, and you get out of there. And then from there, is the next one the boat chapter? No, you have to get to the boat. So from there, you have the side chapter which has Canas in it, and you can have Canas. Oh, we forgot the Kalen chapter. You have the Kalen chapter where Florida is flying, and she gets attacked by an archer, and Huey, I think, dodges it. That's her Pegasus. Huey dodges it, but they land on Hector, which should probably kill him. but also he's Hector, so he's fine. And so then you recruit Lin and Will and Sane and Kent in that chapter and fight back. And so then you go to Baden, and Baden has a port with a ship. But to use the ship, you need to either beat the pirates or talk to or beat Fargus, the captain. Fargus is like a huge satted out berserker. If you can beat him, you get great XP. But it's much easier to just talk to him. And you have a couple flyers. Well, I say a couple. You have Florina. You can fly her around if you're careful and talk to him. But there's also some of Nurgle's men that'll show up in this fight. And you can fight them off for some really good items and XP. And you can recruit Kanas. And Kanas is this really cool dark mage that you can have on your side. Very helpful if you want to cheese some bosses. From there, you have a boat chapter. And you don't get to recruit anybody on the boat chapter, but you can get a guiding ring if you kill the boss quick enough. From there, you go to the Fog of War chapter, the Dread Isle, and this chapter you get Dart, and also this chapter Fiora shows up, who is Florina's sister, and in this chapter, if you can get to her quick enough, you can recruit her, but if not, she'll get herself killed. Uhai is here, and he's the boss of Nurgle's men in this area, and he captures Lin, but then doesn't hurt her and just lets her go because he's a man of honor, because he's from the plains of Sakay. And I don't know if you've heard at this point about the plains of Sakay, but they're a pretty cool place that everybody seems to love, and they talk about a lot. From there, you go to. Do you fight Darren after this? Yeah, you fight Darren after this. You fight Darren, and you have this big chapter, and here you can recruit Legault, who is your second thief. Your second thief, because you had Matthew. I almost forgot who the first thief was. Legault is the Hurricane, and he works for this group called the Black Fang, and that's who's actually working with Darren and with Nurgle. And so you get to Darren, and you beat Darren, and Darren's upset because he was supposed to be a god, but he's not. He's just a man. And then you get behind that area into the altar, and this is when you find Elbert, and Elbert has Nils and Ninian with him, and you try to save Elbert, but Elbert stabs Nurgle, and it's really cool. Good job, Elbert. And then Nurgle has Jafar kill Elbert, and so then Eliwood gets to hold his dad as he dies, and then they're able to escape with Nils and Ninian. And so from there, you have the chapter that's also a Fog of War chapter, where Eliwood is sad and upset, and he's pretty upset about everything. But then Ninian's like, "Hey, your dad was a really great guy. I'll fight alongside you." And so you recruit Ninian, and then you can fight off the bad guys there. And oh boy, what's the next chapter? What's the next chapter? It's not the Ostia chapter, is it? No, the next chapter is the Heath Isadora chapter. So you head back to Foray to tell Eliwood's mom that Elbert is dead, but she already knows, and she sent Isadora along to help. And so you get attacked in this castle, and you defend. And in this chapter, Isadora shows up to help you, and she's a paladin. She's pretty great. And she also comes with a angelic robe, so you get 7 extra health for a unit. And then Heath comes up, and you can recruit Heath because Heath feels bad about attacking women and children. And so you can recruit Heath to your side, and he's pretty cool. Then from there, I don't remember. From there, you either start hunting the Black Fang or you head to the Nabata Desert. And I think you head to the Nabata Desert. I'm pretty sure because I'm trying to remember who all you just because you just got Heath, and so you head to the Nabata Desert. It's bad that I remember chapters based on who's available to play as in those chapters, who's available to use. You head to the Nabata Desert, and that's where you recruit Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's really cool. He's a berserker, and also where you run into Pent, and Pent is this incredible mage, sage, I guess, but still incredible, who can kill everything on the map by himself if you're not careful. And so you recruit Hawkeye, and you go to see Athos, and then Athos is like, "Hey, you need the legendary weapons. You need to get stronger. So you gotta go and hunt those down. And so Athos sends you back to Ostia, I believe. Is it Ostia? No, you get sent to Burn. So you head into Burn because you need to get the legendary weapons. And along that way is when you start getting attacked by the Black Fang. And that's when you have to kill either Lloyd or Linus, depending on hidden conditions that have to do with your Lord's levels. And so you fight one of them. We'll say you fight Lloyd, sure. And you kill Lloyd. And you also can recruit Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, Wallace. That's it. Wallace or Geets, depending on which chapter you go to. And so you fight through there and you kill one of the two Reed brothers. And then you keep moving and you have the Four Fangs, who are the two Reed brothers, uh, Ursula and Jafar. And so you're trying to find the legendary weapons while also having to deal with the Black Fang. After you can also run into Nino, who's been given a job to kill the prince, but she hasn't been given the job yet. In that chapter, you can run into Nino, who is trying to heal Jafar, who was injured on his last mission. So then you get to, because you need the Fire Emblem to be able to get the legendary weapons, and so you go to the Queen of Burn, who wants you to protect her son, and because the coronation ceremony is coming, and if her son can be coronated as the heir, the prince, then her situation in life will be better, and it'll get back at the king because the king and the queen have a bad relationship. And so you sign up to protect her son. Nino's given a job to kill Zephiel, but she can't do it. She just can't bring herself to do it. And so Jafar is supposed to kill Nino, but he can't do it because Nino helped him. And so then the two of them try to protect the prince, and they don't do a great job of it. They need your help. So you rush down to help them, and you save Zephiel, and you recruit Nino, and you recruit Jafar, and then you get a side chapter where you can go and kill Sonia, who is Nino's mom. Actually, she stole Nino from her parents because actually Nino is Kanas's niece. And so you kill Sonia after a very long and grueling chapter with a lot of status staves, and you kill Sonia and you get a felt contract, and that's great because now you can have two assassins if you want because you already have Jafar. But from there, you go to another chapter, which is where, like, with the loss of most of the fangs. Oh man, I'm out of order. Ursula died uh, because she questioned Sonia, or you killed her in Cog of Destiny, or not Cog of Destiny, in the Villa map, one of the two. And so there needs to be a new Four Fangs, and so there's Jeremy and another guy. I don't remember these names at all. And you have to go and stop them too because they're in your way. And so there's this snow map, and you can either recruit Carol or Harkin. Carol, the demon swordsman, or Harkin, Isidora's lover. And so you fight through that, and then you get into the legendary weapon chapter, which is either, depending on what mode you're playing, going to be the fire caves for Ellawood or the poison caves for Hector. Ellawood is able to get back the Durandal of Roland from its protector, which is a ghost that used to work for Roland. And it's pretty cool. It's a cool chapter. It's fun. You can only bring 5 units. It's pretty cool. Hector's chapter, you can only bring 2, and he has to get the Armads back from Durban, which is really cool. It's a really cool chapter. And when Hector takes up Armads, he makes the promise that he will die on the battlefield. He will not die with his feet up. He will not die in a bed somewhere. He will die fighting. And so with these two weapons in hand, you should be able to leave, right? But when Ellawood leaves the cave, he gets attacked by a mist dragon. And so Ellawood, before he even realizes what he's doing, the sword has him strike, and he cuts down the dragon, which was Ninian. I forgot to mention Ninian got kidnapped again at some point in here. I forgot to bring that up completely, but it was Ninian, and Ninian had been turned back into a dragon because of Nurgle, and had come to see Ellawood because she was in love with Ellawood. And depending on your support level, the cutscene's a little bit different, but not too much. But Ellawood kills her, and then is very upset. And Nils is like comatose. And so you go back to Ostia to try and have a moment to rest. And it's here that you find out that Hector's brother has been dead for a while, and that he had sent word through Oswin to not tell Hector. And Oswin and Hector have a falling out because, hey, that's my brother. How dare you not tell me? You're supposed to work for me, not him. And so then Hector's dealing with that, while Ellawood is dealing with the fact that he killed the woman that he loves, while Nils is like comatose on the ground, and you have to protect Nils. But this is where you can re-recruit Wrath, which is pretty cool. And so you fight off the bad guys, and you force your way forward, right? And now you have the legendary weapons. You get the Fire Emblem from the Queen of Burn, and it's time to go back and fight again, right? There's no other choice. You have to stop Nurgle. And so you get to, I feel like there's definitely some people we've forgotten. You get to the Dread Isle again. Oh, Cog of Destiny. Right. You have to fight through Cog of Destiny first. This is where you can recruit Vida. You have to fight the other Reed brother that you didn't kill before. There is no other option. It's just the way it is. Map full of enemies. Really, really long map, but can be really fun. Then you could get to this map where you have to cross to the other side. It's a long way, but you can recruit Riddick in this map, and you can find Sophia, who's important for FE6. You don't get to recruit her, though. You just get to find her. And then you finally get to Nurgle's fortress, Nurgle's temple, I guess, and you force your way in, and inside he has made these what are they called? Morphs. He's made these morphs of some of the people that you fought along the way. So like the most powerful, right? The Reed brothers and Darren, and the Reed brothers' dad, Brendan Reed, and Uhai and stuff like that. And so you have to fight all of them off. And they're really strong, but you can do it. You have Athos at your side now. You also, I forgot to mention, you recruited Pent and Louise, his wife, and you have them at your side now as well. So like you're tough, you're strong, and you fight your way up to Nurgle, and you defeat Nurgle, probably with Athos, let's be honest. And when you defeat Nurgle, he summons with the last of his quintessence, the last of his life force, a red dragon. And then you have to fight off this red dragon, and you can only hurt him with the legendary weapons, with Athos, or with Luna for no reason. So those are your options. Use those. And you beat the red dragon, and you get to this scene where Bremimon shows up, who's another one of the great heroes. I forgot to bring up the Scouring at all. A long time ago, Athos, Roland, Durbin, Bremimon, and the others that were with them did a thing called the Scouring, where they fought off the dragons that were trying to devastate the land. And Bremimon shows up, and he's like, hey, I brought Ninian back to life. I'm not really going to explain why. I just did it. Here you go. And then you fight. You don't fight. I'm sorry. Then Ninian and Nils will use their power to seal the portal. And if you have an A support with Ninian, she will stay, and Nils will leave, and she will stay and marry Ellawood. And if you don't, she will leave as well. But the portal's closed. Everybody goes back home. Hector now has to be in charge of Ostia. Ellawood now has to be in charge of Foray. Lin should be in charge of Kaelin, but she gives Kaelin to Foray and Ostia and just leaves because she wants to go back to the plains of Sakay. Thanks, Lin. And so then you get an epilogue scene. You actually get two epilogue scenes. You get an epilogue scene of Ellawood and Hector meeting again years later. They both have kids. Hector has a full beard. Hector's daughter is named Lelina, and Ellawood's son is named Roy. And they meet up again, and they're having a nice little meeting, talking and having a good time. And Roy and Lelina are playing. And then the second epilogue scene is of Zephiel, the prince that you saved, who has killed his father and become the king of Burn. And things may not be good in the future. You have to play FE6 and find out. But I'm sure there are things that I've forgotten about FE7. I think I forgot Carla. If you have Bartra as a level 5 warrior or above, Carla will show up in the preparation map that I forgot to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's any other characters that I forgot. I'm sure I've forgotten one somewhere. I think I got them all that you can recruit. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on From Memory, what I should From Memory next in the comment section down below. I think I've remembered more of that one than I expected, and so I don't know if this one will be funny or if it's just like a bad plot summary. But just let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Trey, this has been the Full Spectrum, and this has been Useless Lin. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that From Memory has to offer.